When somebody's able to get under your skin, it's because you're insecure. And when they're trying to get under your skin, it's because they're insecure. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Relationship Theory. I'm your co-host, Tom Bilyeu, and I am here with my beautiful wife who has changed her hair up, Lisa Bilyeu. What is up?
Keeping it fresh, baby.
There you go.
So this comes from Facebook, from Janen Lewis. Where do you draw the line with the quotes? You know that's what they're like. That's end quotes. Personally, I see that as an excuse for bad behavior and have become far less tolerant of it than I have been. Like, I do not see much benefit in allowing a bad acting relative or whoever to continue with disruptive behavior.
Why the cheeky smile?
Because, like, I totally hear what they're saying. Like, I used to be like that, right? Like, morally, that person shouldn't be like that, or morally, that person shouldn't say that to that person. That's just so inappropriate. And how can that person treat that person like that? And I was always the one that was like, I should step in and stick up for that person or call that person on their crap, because that's just not right. You don't treat someone like that. And that was my personality. That's very instinctual of who I am. Now, the problem, not even problem, I mean, yes, problem, in situations like that, it never makes the situation better. Ever. Like, you're never like calming people down, helping people through the difficult times. You're just really someone with a spoon stirring the pot, and you may not mean to, because it may come from like, but I just want to feed people, so I'm stirring this pot to like create good food. But the truth is, it never ends well. And so when it comes to, let's say, in a family environment where it's me and you, and I've seen someone talk badly to you, and I remember this. Someone said something to you, and I got so annoyed. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? You don't talk to my husband like that. That's so disrespectful to him. How the hell? Like, it was offensive to me. Like, offensive. But this has come to a point where we'd had many situations like that. And I just thought, okay, first of all, you would not want me to defend you.
Yeah, I've got a thing.
Right, but I know you well enough, right? So
yeah.
Even though instinctually I think that they've done you wrong and they're rude, and I know you're not going to call them on it because it may be someone close to you, I was like, well, even though I want to, it's not going to help. Now you're just going to get upset with me because I know that about you. So in actually like calling them out and doing something I know you won't like doesn't help. It's not going to help mine and your relationship, because I've actively gone against something that I know you won't want me to do. Rule number one. So number two, it was like, this situation now will just get more tense. What you do is you may go quiet, no one will see it on your face, no one will even realize that that's been offensive to you. And so now I'm bringing it to light. And so you're an adult. As much as I love you and feel like as the wife, I still have your back and you can count on me no matter what, is that you're an adult and you will handle this in the way that you see is best. It's not about me. So by me inserting myself into a situation where it's you and someone else, especially if it's a family member, now I'm just becoming the more of a problem than I am the resolution. And so no matter how righteous I may feel I am, I'm not helping the cause. So I see that as well. And then I just know that afterwards you'll be upset that I said something because it didn't help the cause. And now I have a problem with that person, and it's not just you. Right now I've inserted myself, and before they may not have had any ill will towards me, but now that I've spoken up, they have. So in situations like that, there's I've realized over the years, because again, this was not instinctual, that being right doesn't mean that it's the right act to do, right? I may feel better about myself because, like, yes, I've shown that no one can walk over you, no one can say that, but it just causes more problems. And so afterwards, I will be very honest with you and I say, hey, when so-and-so said that, I actually didn't like it. But it's kind of what you were saying, is like, accept people for who they are in regards to if they're the sort of person that is being snippy, for instance. I also think there's a reason for that, right? They're probably going through problems. They've probably got issues. They're probably insecure. And so it's just an outlet. And to be honest, you're a very safe person to have that with, because people can act completely irrational to you and at you, and you don't judge them. And I think it's easier for people to kind of be a little more extreme. So Yeah, so I kind of do understand what they're saying about like, but that's what they're like. Like, I'm not making excuses for them. It's not an excuse at all. It's just in the way that you handle and deal with it, especially when it comes to relationships and in-laws or your partner's, family. It's just, I've never seen it end well. So ultimately, the goal is to have a very harmonious evening or weekend or vacation with everybody, because we always say, right, you never know when you're going to get this opportunity again. So
Yeah. And to that, I will also say that people treat you exactly the way you let them treat you. So I fully understand. Like, there are certain relationships in my life that, and this is part of why I don't freak out. When I need a boundary, I put a fucking boundary. Like, I'm not weird about that. I'm not tense. Like, boom, here's the line in the sand, and that's that. And I think that's really what all this stems from for me is when somebody's able to get under your skin, it's because you're insecure. And when they're trying to get under your skin, it's because they're insecure. So getting into some like battle of whose insecurity has moral superiority is like, it's so asinine. I literally don't understand it. So whatever like baseline neuro wiring I have is suboptimal for those like conflicts in relationship that just from the outside, like they seem like such insanity. I don't understand it. So if I'm going away with a family while other people, like maybe to them, like that's how their like relationship is shaped, and it's, steel is forged in the fire. And so they want to like collide and have like all those moments. To me, it literally chokes me up. It's absurdity in the highest for me.
Oh, and in fact, keeping along this line, there have been times where I've gotten into, let's say, a disagreement with my family, and my family are upsetting me, and you're sitting there, and I see you as like, you're my hero, you're my knight in shining armor. And anytime that I'm fearful, like I have no problem in saying like, save me, baby. Like, I have no problem in doing that. I don't do it often, but there have been times where I've been in a debate with my family or someone in my family and I felt attacked. And it's a debate that like maybe, so in fact, perfect example, my health. My dad, love my dad to bits, but we don't see the same way of how we're dealing with my health. He wants me to go to a very traditional doctor, and we're going about like the new medicine and microbiome and all the discoveries there. So we just clash every time I talk to my dad about diet. And so the last time we were in England, my dad asked me the same question every time, bless him, like, oh, how are you doing? So have you gone to a doctor? Like, same question, no matter how much I explain it. And so I go back into it. No, Dad, we're actually trying this now and we're trying that. And so he starts like questioning and debating and basically making me feel like everything I'm doing is wrong. Right. And I turned to you and I gave you like that puppy dog look, like, help me, because I'm not getting through to him. And I can't explain the science like you can. And you just kind of gave me like a little pat on the leg, like a kind of an ease, like, it's okay, babe, but you didn't say anything. And afterwards, we've spoken about things like that, where you're like, because I'm like, babe, I really turned to you. Like, I needed you to speak up. And you literally said, well, what outcome are you hoping for? Because while I love your dad to bits, he's not going to hear what I have to say on the new medicine. So I'm not going to sit here and try and convince him. That makes him feel bad, right? Then it makes me put you in a position where you have to go in convincing mode, but you don't need to convince him. And so you just kind of let me know by touching my leg that you were there for me emotionally, but that in speaking up and trying to defend you, it's only going to make the entire situation worse. And because you handled it like that, you actually helped me get through it. And so in the moment, I was a bit like, but now
I was going to say, like, I think the truth is that what you're saying now, and I'm so grateful to hear it, is very much hindsight, de-escalated emotions.
100%.
At the time, you went from wanting to stab your dad in the neck to wanting to stab me in the neck. You were not happy about the fact.
I knew by then, I knew why you didn't, but I was definitely lost. And so in looking at you, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, my thing is like so this is a perfect example. No matter what I say, he's not going to be convinced. He's not going to be convinced. And so all I'm thinking is, I don't have to convince him. Like, that none of this is predicated on him thinking it's the right thing to do.
Right.
So I'm going to solve the problem. That's that. And I honestly, and that's part of it is basically the strategy I'm employing now is because it's a strategy I believe to be the best strategy. The second I think there's a different strategy, I will turn. So I don't have any dogmatic commitment to what I'm pursuing. So the best I could hope to do is say, here's why I think this is the right strategy now. And he's going to say, and here's why I think you're wrong. And so no one's going to be convinced. So it's like, I don't give a shit. I don't have a stake in my position other than I know at the end of the day that I'm going to win because I won't stop. I will just keep going until I solve the problem. So this is very much like when I went in the case of your father in this very specific thing, it's like when I went to him and asked for his blessing to marry you. It's like, okay, it was a little bummer that he wasn't going to give it, but it didn't change anything in my strategy about, and I told him, I said, look, I get it. What you see right now is a broke kid who is going to make his daughter poor. But I'm the most ambitious person you've ever met. You can't see that now. I fully get that. So like, I'm not going to put a lot of words around trying to get you comfortable with where I'm at now. Like, by the way, when your microbiome problems are in the past and we've figured this out, then it will be like that moment where we were on the production floor and, you know, we've got what we were surrounded at that moment by like 600 employees or something, 300,000 square feet, like 1.5 million bars pumping off the production line. And I reminded him of what he had asked me, which was, how are you going to take care of my daughter? And I said, how am I doing? Right. And he obviously was just blown away. Right. So it'll be the same thing right now in the middle of your, what we'll call a health crisis. Why would he have much like belief in me, right? So I get it. Everything in his life tells him, go to the doctor. They know best. So
but you know what,
I'll convince him with my actions.
But you know what I just realized in real time, because it never dawned on me until now. I knew you weren't going to convince him. And I knew because I know my dad and I know that he likes to read up on his own medical stuff. But as you were talking, I was like, you know what? I actually knew you wouldn't convince him. I just wanted to feel like I had an ally.
Also, if we really get to the heart of it, when you have somebody that's amazingly good at debating or
my dad's
arguing,
amazing,
then you want someone that can shut them down so that you can win and be right. And I get the intoxicating, and you've seen me do that with other things where it matters and I actually need to convince people. So you wanted me to turn that on. It's like you will do this fun thing where you'll look at me and say, inspire them, clown. Literally those exact words. So it's from the movie Wedding Crashers, where the kid goes, make me a bicycle clown. And so whenever my wife wants me to do something, she'll, inspire them, clown, motivate them, clown, like whatever. So
convince them, clown.
Exactly. And that was exactly what you were looking for. At that moment, if you could have just said it out loud, you would have said, convince them, clown, or be convincing, clown. It's like, I know and I get it. And I always feel terrible when that is a losing strategy. When I'll say words that are convincing to you, but like I can see the future and they're not convinced.
Yeah.
So it's like, be convincing, clown, and convince them, clown are very different.
Yeah. But like I said, though, I do recognize now that really what I needed was to feel like I had an ally, because when it becomes in those situations, especially because it's my family, you always want to be very respectful. You never want to be that like bullish guy.
Yeah, I don't want to be Yoko Ono.
You don't, yeah. And so you always step back always in situations like that, and you just let them play out. And in now talking about it, like I've just realized, and that's why I think your hand on my leg in hindsight actually made me feel better. Is that I just need to know that I'm not alone in this, right? Because it's such a health thing that's very it's in me, and it's something I battle with every single day. And so when you're reading, or when we had the phone call with the doctor over the weekend, just you being present actually makes me feel like we're in it together. And so even when it came to my dad, and now thinking about it, it wasn't actually that I needed you to convince him, is that I wanted to feel like in that moment as I was talking to my dad that I'm not alone in this battle, and that whether he agrees with it or not, we are doing the right thing.
Yeah. When we pull this off and we have fixed your microbiome, I'm actually going to start wearing a cape. Like more than what we've done from a business perspective, like because this was so far outside of anything that I knew or understood, and it really has come from a place of aggression and frustration, I will feel very good about having solved this problem.
Yeah. But with things like what we're talking about, even with in how, to handle like things like my dad and those types of situations, just this little realization, right, I think will now help us for the next time in me saying to you, okay, well, I recognize now that when I'm with my dad, I feel like I'm in a lone battle. So, hey, babe, this is what I need from you. Can you actually sit closer to me? I think that would really help, in fact, if you're near me. If I feel like your hand on me, our little baby boy's come in. So if I feel your hand on me on my shoulder, or if I feel your hand on my leg, feeling that like physical support, I think actually helps me emotionally as well.
Wow.
So